What a delicious looking little goodie. I can't wait to taste these. Well, today I'm going to be making corn fritters. Corn fritters are delicious, folks. And I did a little study on this, okay? I wanted to learn who invented the fritter. Where did the fritter come from? What is a fritter? Okay, well, you know, if you go to the dictionary, fritter means to be frivolous with one's time, okay? That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is this wonderful little patty that is cooked up with vegetables, meat, fruit, or any combination thereof. Today, we're going to be using corn. This is going to be a corn fritter. We're going to be using a corn batter, and it's probably going to be really, really good. So if everything goes right, we're going to have a delicious corn fritter. Now, once again, I don't like looking at other people's recipes. I don't like going down that path. I don't know what other people do for corn fritters, okay? It's not one of the regular things that I make. But when I thought about it and when I considered it and when I compare it in my mind and give a good comparison to what I've had before in other kinds of fritters, I know exactly what I want. So today we're going to invent the recipe. We're going to invent it right here on the tutorial version. And once again, we're going to find out how well just inventing your own recipes works. And it starts with a good understanding of how to bake, how to produce the recipe that you're wanting. Fritters. It's going to be a fun lesson. And it's a great recipe that comes along with it, because we're going to be doing some unique stuff. Folks, if you've never had a corn fritter, guess what? You're in luck. And I'm positive what we're making today is going to be absolutely delicious. Now let's get in the kitchen and let me show you how we make corn fritters. I don't know how we make those. All I know is how I'm going to make them. Come on. Oh, before we do that, don't forget, check the links down below when the video's over, okay? Got some great stuff on my website. The recipe for it, stuff like this. There's other merchandise like the shirts and prints and things. Folks, thank you for taking a look at those links. Now let's get in the kitchen and get busy making us some fritters. Come on. So today our fritters we're going to be making are going to be corn fritters. So I've got some corn here. I've also got cornmeal, and I've got just a little bit of flour. Now I'm going to make this wonderful little batter going on with the flour, the cornmeal, and with some eggs and milk. And that batter, I want it to rise up a little bit. I want it to have a little puff to it. So I'm going to be adding some baking powder. And we got some salt here just to make the whole thing come out right. That flavor pops. It's good that way. Folks, let's make us some fritters. This is simple enough. Our ingredients aren't too complex. Let's talk about the corn for just a moment. If you're going to be using canned corn, or if you're going to be using frozen corn, take your canned corn, of course, open it up, drain off any of those juices. We don't need any excess moisture going into our batter. We are going to control the moisture our own way. When you're using the frozen, we need to go ahead and just thaw it off. And the same way there, if there's any excess moisture, drain it out. And on this, if you're doing this, go ahead and dehusk it, get all of that silk out of there, and get your corn cob cleaned up so that we can cut the corn free and use it in our mixture. Okay, that's all there is to it. And by doing that, you know, with those, depending on which type you're using, we get a consistency with the corn itself. And that's all there is to it. Now the husk, simple enough. Just pull it back with the silk and all. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I'll get it at the bottom. Now I need to get this cleaned up, and I'm going to remove the rest of that silk over at my sink. The corn I have finished washing, so not only did I strip off that silk, when I was washing it I took a vegetable brush and gave it a good scrub like this. That's no guarantee you're going to get all of the silk, but folks, most of the time that usually takes care of it. I recommend if you don't have a vegetable brush, well, goodness sakes, please get one. That's a great way of handling, cleaning up your vegetables. I need to remove this corn from the cob that it is sitting on, and I normally would do that by standing it vertical, taking my knife and cutting down to slice all of the corn off of the cob below. Problem is this thing's kind of wobbly. It's kind of difficult to hold steady. So what I'm going to recommend to you, until you get used to doing this at least, take your knife, let's cut straight down through so we get, whoops, it's a little angled, a little straightening there, so I get a straighter surface and it's able to stand up by itself. The next thing I want to do, while holding it firmly by the very top up here, not by the sides like this because you can cut your fingers, all right? And then holding the knife by pinching it here, wrap those fingers around it, and that way the knife won't roll on you. It's got a good control. When you hold it back here, it can roll and it becomes very, very dangerous to you, okay? Grip it like so. Now let's take our knife. We're just going to cut straight down. That cob underneath becomes that perfect guide for what you're doing, all right? Don't be afraid to go at this just like this. It's not hard. Okay? So if you've never stripped a corn cob before, well folks, guess what? Here's lesson number 1 on corn cob stripping. There we go. So the corn, just take it and kind of break it apart. The nuggets will fall apart easily on any of these little panels that are still stuck together, okay? That's all there is to it. We got lots of fresh corn. Look at that. That good looking corn. Sweet corn. I've already cracked my eggs. I'm going to be getting some milk in there, beating the two together. So I'll break my yolks. There we go. Just a quick, gentle beating. And then lightly working it as the milk goes in. There we go. We got everything mixed well. Now I need to get the cornmeal in here, and I might need more milk. I'm not sure yet. We'll find out soon enough. Cornmeal's in. It's getting to a nice, fairly thick consistency, and it's going to thicken up a lot more. So let me explain something about the way I'm doing this. Remember, we are inventing the recipe as we go. I don't know if the consistency on this is going to come out too thick, or if I'm going to need to add a little more milk, or what. Maybe it'll be too thin and I need to add a little more cornmeal. Not sure. We find out in time. Here's the thing. I've already mixed this part of it up. I need to wait for the cornmeal to start soaking up some of the moisture in this. And as it does, it's going to thicken. And once that thickens, then I can go ahead and add in the rest of my ingredients. Now here's the thing. Why do I not put my baking powder in this now? I can put the salt in it now, but I'm going to wait anyway. Why don't I put the baking powder in here? It's simple. I've got a double acting baking powder over there. Double acting means it's going to release carbon dioxide 2 separate times, 2 separate ways. The carbon dioxide, the first time when you mix it, will get released in the batter before it goes in the oven. Okay, so there's a little bit of a rise there. So if you want to wait before it goes into the oven or into a hot skillet or frying or whatever we do with this, when you're heating it, it then sets off a second rise, and that is the double acting part, the second action. There is a second catalyst in the baking powder that causes the baking soda or the sodium bicarbonate in it to release carbon dioxide a second time, and that's the double acting part. So we don't want it in there until we're ready to get started, and that means give it a little rest time. There's no rush here. This gives you time to do other stuff. Let it set for easily 15 to 20 minutes, okay? My batter has rested 15 minutes. It has thickened considerably, all right? So what I want to do now is to get my other ingredients in there. The first one is going to be this baking powder. I'm going to sprinkle it over the top in the same way with my salt. Sometimes they will stick inside of the cup. That's sort of why I tap them. That's what's going on there. A good thorough mix. Corn right down in here. Beautiful. All right, now that gives me a much firmer consistency. Nice. And I think I'm going to add to this batter 1/4 of a cup of cornmeal just to firm it slightly more. As you remember, we were discussing adjusting this earlier. Okay, so this is not unexpected for a brand new recipe. Now you might be saying, well, hold it, you had to let that other cornmeal rest. What about this? Now, I know it would be nice, but I'm not going to worry with that. I'm simply getting it in there with the rest of the ingredients, and the amount of time that it takes for my oil to heat is the amount of time that has to thicken this a little bit, hydrate it a little better, and then we'll get it into the hot oil. So far this is looking good by the consistency of the mixture. It's really nice. Okay, I can smell my oil, and believe me, it smells good. I love the smell of peanut oil when it's heating. Oh, it's delightful. Okay, so my thermometer is giving me an oil temperature reading of 316 degrees. That tells me that I'm ready to go on making these. I want to drop that temperature just a hair to get it under control for a moment. This is thickened up beautifully. It kind of flows slow now, and that's really what I want on my batter. And I have a disher handy, and that's the guy right here. So I'm going to scoop up just a little bit and drain off the excess. There we go. Now, into the oil it goes. Isn't that delightful? All right, we're going to try cooking up 3 of those first, see what they look like, and I'm just going to wait for them to get a nice even brown on the bottom before I turn them over, and we're going to see how they come out. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Now the quantities on our fritters, folks, when it comes to the amount of corn, it's just sort of to your liking. But remember, you can't put so much corn in there that there's nothing left to hold it together. So your balance has to be, you know, on the side of the batter that you make. So we need to make our batter so that it is about 60% batter and 40% corn, and I think that's a good ratio. For the batter itself, I used a couple of eggs. That's 2 eggs, half a cup of milk, 1 cup of cornmeal, 1/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking powder, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And that's all there is to it. This is as much as you want, up to, well, as much as you can get in there. Alrighty, let's take a look. Okay, starting to get a golden brown on bottom. I just barely lifted it enough to look, but it's also good and firm, and that's really kind of what I was going for. I'm going to turn it in just a moment. And the thing of it is when we turn it and you have this much oil, don't turn it towards you. You don't want to be splashing oil out towards you. So we're going to flip it over backward. That way if the oil splashes, it goes away from us. And that's quite important. Ooh, come on, right on over. There we go. Made a mess, didn't I? Look at me. I'm terrible today. Cook that batter. Now I'm going to say, if I were to do this again, I would certainly use a little less oil. Maybe just 1/8 of an inch should be more than enough. However, this is doing nicely and it's getting me a good fry on the edge. So, well, we'll see. They do look delicious, I'll say that. What a delicious looking little goodie. I can't wait to taste these. These, they look delicious. They came out just the way I wanted. Plenty of corn packed in. Okay. Yeah. Exactly what I was hoping for. Oh man. Okay. Excellent recipe. Folks, the adjustment on this, pardon me, the adjustment on this is going to be a total of 1/4 cup of cornmeal. So instead of that 1 cup of cornmeal, change it to 1 1/4 cups of cornmeal and you have the right amount. This recipe is banging good. It came out just perfect. It's great when things come out right the first time. And the neat thing is, I didn't look at anybody else's recipe, didn't research it or study it. I researched fritters, but I didn't study the recipes. I wanted it to be mine, and so boom, this is my baby right here. These little cakes came out good. They seem quite similar in their design to Johnny cakes. Okay, so if anybody says, hey, that's just a Johnny cake, well, there's a little bit of difference, but not a whole lot. Folks, these are really good. Try these fritters. Please enjoy them. Do me a favor and please take a look at Texas Cooking Today. Lots and lots and lots and lots of wonderful recipes on there. Stuff that you're really going to enjoy. Also, if you would, please take a look right down below here. Yeah, that's in that spot, in that description box down there. That's where the links are. If you want one of these caps. If you want to find the recipe, in the links right down there. Texas Cooking Today is a project of S.A.Trotter Arts, and that's me. All right, so please take a look at my website and find out what's there. Cool stuff like this. And thank you very much for watching. Folks, you have a good day. Bye-bye. All right, get some more of this.